I would like to introduce the first keynote speaker, Captain Gurpawan Singh. We lovingly call him Gary Singh. With 28 years of experience in risk management, forensic analysis, and organizational consulting, Gary is a valuable driven leader known for creating impact and driving innovation across diverse and complex domains. As the president of IIRIS Consulting, he provides strategic directions and leadership, ensuring the delivery of high quality, tailored solutions to clients across multiple sectors and geographies. His extensive expertise continues to shape transformative outcomes in the field of enterprise risk and advisory service. Please welcome Gary Singh.
Thank you, Don. Thanks so much. Thanks for making me part of this event. A formal good morning to everybody. It's great to be here. Good to see a lot of seniors and friends together. And I think the subject is so fast evolving, rather than anything conclusive which can be said here, it's best to do an active discussion. So let's do a generative discussion to discuss what AI does. Yes, I would like to bring certain aspects which are shaping up very regularly, because it's also a question of how this is evolving, where it has reached, and where it can go. The story of evolution always has been there, then the security has to move along with what's happening in the world. We cannot just do security for security, but we do security for something, whether it's business, lives, assets, whatever that can be. Through the evolution, obviously the fastest phase is right here. And in this evolution, right from the first asset, which was life, that's how humans were protecting themselves. And then the next asset became food. Then land became an asset. From there, the diamonds and the golds and everything else. And through this journey, what has become the biggest asset now is data. And whatever we've been doing in terms of invention and discoveries, most of the aspects that humankind has done, it has been generally to control nature or be equivalent to God. When I say that, yes, one of the big things, you are in a controlled HVAC environment. We want temperature to be suitable for us. We want lives to be extended. So all the inventions and whatever were happening, we were trying to be in control. That's how we have emerged as a superior breed or race, whatever we want to call ourselves. And obviously we moved to jungles, we got a lot of other plants and flora and fauna extinct. So we've been trying to be really in control. But now we are at a watershed moment when finally humans have created something which is going to control humans as well. That's a big step of artificial intelligence coming in. And if you think that's not going to happen, believe me, you already are responding to a computer who tells you, please tell me what is 2 plus 1 if you want to log in, so that I can verify you're a human. Or they'll show you 20 pictures that identify 5 cycles out of this, so that you can be allowed to log in. So this is the first major change. When humans have been trying to be controlling everything, going up and up and up, now they have something which is upper than the human mind that is already working. And that's welcome to the world of artificial intelligence. And it is going to do a lot of things to us professionals as well. So if you have as such looked, without even artificial intelligence coming in, look at the speed of data which was coming towards you. And if you want to just measure the speed of data, within last possible less than 3 decades actually, when the mobile phones become a little bit of a common commodity, initial only had audio signals. When the internet started coming into mobile, it was like, wow. And now, what used to be the original storage of any mobile or sometimes even computer, you have a bigger RAM than the original storage which used to be there in the group. You have RAMs of 8 GB RAM, 6. This is not even the total storage which mobile phones and computer used to carry. What does it show? That bigger RAM is to show that how fast data can come in. Look at your internet speeds. So for us professionals, if that's the speed of data which is coming up, your brain has now to cope up with it. It has to move with the rocket speed all the time. Your business, your CEO is expecting that moment they've sent the mail, you will give them an answer. Sometimes I've seen people calling saying, "मैंने mail भेजी है, उसका जवाब दे देना." So that's the expectation of your environment. So now your brains, whether they make a right decision or a wrong, but you have no choice, the brain has to work at a rocket speed. So what does AI and generative AI do to it? Is going to make things even more complex. So the way dynamite came up, obviously the bad guys used it and good guys used it. AI as of now, the bad guys are using it more than anybody else. So unless we tune ourselves very rapidly to move to such tools, such environment, because I don't think it'll be possible to get our brains work at that speed with so many different 360-degree angles or maybe even full steradian angles, not only one plane they're operating. So that's where the need for us also is there. The generative AI is going to make things much more tougher. So what we need to look at is also having a very comprehensive system. Understanding what can work for me better. Understanding how can I do most of the things automatically. If you look at traditional systems, if you look at fire, you don't know when it'll pop up, what scale it can go, and it's a bit of a static thing. If it comes up, that's how, when you look at the fire arrangements, that system will have after certain meters a detector, after certain meters suppression system, and all that. So even if nobody's attending, the fire will get controlled in some manner or the other. Yes, once it starts becoming beyond that or somebody is stuck, then the firefighters need to come and play that. But the system is a static system. If I may call it also, it's a non-intelligent system. Whereas security, when you're looking at the terrorists, you're looking at thieves, what they do, they'll study your system. They'll find gaps in the system. And then they will break in. The fire doesn't do that. Fire works with might. It doesn't say either detector hai, idhar nahi lagna hai, udhar lagti hu. But sure, terrorists, they are intelligent. And now what has happened is, in addition to they're able to review a system, they have tools that will review your system. Even the physical vulnerability, cyber vulnerability, all are done using tools. So I will not physically do it. I will put in a tool which will monitor maybe thousands of systems at one go and let me know that these 5 are the worst, which means if I need to crack them open, for me, these 5 are my lead list. That's where the need for you also to have maximum amount of automatic systems to block or to give you an alert becomes very, very important, because you cannot fight with everything that's going to come towards you. There are going to be too many things and they're going to be hugely large in number. So look at some of the situations and then see what AI is going to do for us. This is a very unique trend. And even in countries like India, this can be visible, but if you look at Europe or USA or the Western countries, the heinous crime is regularly going down. When I say heinous crime, I mean more of those murders and things like those. I do want to keep, if you look at US, I do want to keep those specific mental health challenges when the university people will bring a weapon and start spraying bullets around. If I keep that aside, the general data shows the heinous crime is going down. But the crime for economic benefits is going up, and most of that crime has now shifted to cyber. Because your bank has shifted to cyber, the way you want to watch TV, OTTs is moved to your mobile phone. You don't go out, you basically do Swiggies and Zomatos, so that's gone out. So everything has moved to mobile or cyber, so most of the economic crimes have also shifted to cyber. That's again a trend. But when that has shifted, at least in my assessment, the gap between police and thief has really increased. If you look at India, we are actually countrywide getting more than 1 lakh cases every day when some crime of cyber nature has happened. And in this, some of the minor money, if somebody has taken 1,000 rupees out of your Paytm, you're not even reporting this. So there's a huge number which is non-reported as well. Now comes the challenge. Out of this 1 lakh, the average cases getting solved is around 1. So look at the gap between thief and the police. And this gap is only widening as of now because thief have adopted AI very quickly and police is very slow to adopt that. So what that brings back to us security professionals, our responsibility is going up. Because we need to possibly start bridging that gap as well. So that's a major impact of AI. And I'm putting very simple examples. If you start going into more details about how organized crime, cyber level, international, all that becomes even further more complex. So right now, the risk dynamism is going up. Even the police or the international police or even larger organizations which support each other finding it difficult because if I'm on the criminal side, I don't have borders. I can sit in Botswana, use a VPN, show I'm in Cambodia, maybe do one more hop of VPN, show one of the countries where the privacy is very high, maybe Germany, and then do a cybercrime. Whereas if you've done a crime in India, for police to go back, moment I see IP address of Germany, that's it. I can't move forward because that's a very high privacy norm. They don't share data. Even if I go to a country which shares data, I find a VPN detail. So risk dynamism is going up. In short time, it will keep moving and the need of awareness becomes equally important. Earlier, we were talking about doing such sessions, talking about awareness as what's going on. Now your awareness has to go to what will work specifically for me. So the need of technology to respond to all this is so huge. You need to take your awareness to what will exactly work for me, not that what's going on. Because initially you could get those solutions out. Now you really need a lot of help in getting the solutions in. And where is this maximum solution building going on? And this is again so-called official data, but a lot of countries in Asia, Africa have a business when the total technology which is in form of cameras or whatever else is not even part of the data. So I'll say the growth is much higher. And the biggest growth which is happening within the security world is within the domain of surveillance and risk detection. So risk detection also has got a component of surveillance attached. So that's how the maximum number actually goes to surveillance. So it's CCTV, analytics within CCTV, how exactly the machine learning and everything else can work up. So that's where maximum attention is. And if you look at, let's go a little bit step by step and how it's impacting and what we need to do. And in between, if you have comments, if you have solutions to something that's being discussed as a problem statement, do let us know because we all need, like I said, our awareness has to go to what will work for me. What's the solution rather than what's problem. So we already discussed the impact of technology, the speed of data, and a lot of things which are happening right now. So this impact of technology is not providing the similar impact on solution as it's providing impact on the problem statement. Like I said, the miscreants right now are able to use whether AI or technology far better than the solutions or the police side or the security professional sides are doing as well. This is going to strongly change the manpower we need. I know there's a regular discussion within the physical security world. Do we need guards? What will happen to the guards? I will say you will always need a man because even if you have a machine, you need that man. But this will change on what type of human resource you need. No more simple, plain, vanilla act Pasara qualified. We've been struggling, even people are not doing Pasara qualified sufficiently well. Nobody's investing in training. But this is going to change needs into a hugely different type of manpower. And if I may take the liberty, I know we have a mix of information security and physical security people here. Since we have not started collaborating or integrating it so well, we still remain within a challenge of that this is physical security and this is cyber security, information security, or technical security, whatever you want to call it. That gap, if doesn't get bridged in a particular organization now, that organization is increasing its vulnerability. So I will say a simple way of looking at it, will you need manpower or not? Yes, you will, but what type of manpower you need, that's going to drastically change. Like I said, you need to have too much of prevention now going on and timely detection. And as much you can do automatic prevention, that means again you need to have sufficient tools of AI, or maybe you have to really do everything shut down and only limited to come in. But that's a very difficult environment to create. Right? So that's going to be one major change that will come up in terms of you need to have more automatic prevention, timely detection, so that you are able to swiftly respond to it as well. So this will impact a lot of things, your communication ability, a lot of other aspects as well. And that means if you're able to respond better, your posture is better, that's always an advantage. In fact, we were developing a campus. I'll not go into where or who is making this campus, but we were given a simple task that we need maximum amount of technology to respond. So it becomes a situation, I'll just create a hypothetical situation and share with you. Let's say if you have a large campus, it's got a perimeter, buildings in between, there can be open areas. So the expectation now is, if somebody is going to approach the perimeter, the existing system should be able to identify and start tracking. Right? So which means even if there is a movement outside the perimeter, you are able to identify and start tracking, but you're not taking any action. If now that particular movement you were tracking has reached, let's say, 2 meters of the perimeter, it will show on a larger screen within the control center. From here onwards, this is the first alert. Whether this alert is relevant or not, we don't still know, because somebody did approach till wall and go back, we don't know. But at least the system has said, you need to watch this. Something can also be achieved now with AI. If you initially have been doing this with your SOC manning, the same thing can be done by AI. In fact, that's what Durank is really good at doing. If now someone has jumped across the perimeter with whatever tools they had, now it's that alert has turned into a real situation for you. So even now, the first response is provided by the system itself. This area where the person has jumped will become more illuminated. It will show a limited alarm within that area so that the complete building operation is still not getting disturbed. So that area have a limited alarm, or there can be an announcement. The announcement will say, even it can, based on it can say, you red color wearing shirt, stop there. You're not allowed to enter. So this is again like, if I'm wearing red color, what is this? Right? So till now there is no human intervention, all that is done by the system. But the system at the same time has sent a SMS alert to the nearest guard, and that guard is also geo-tracked that who is the nearest that point of time. If the guard is not acknowledging that SMS or whatever app-based system you use within 30 seconds, the automatic escalation to the supervisor takes place. That your guard has not responded to a situation which has been alerted. And what system is doing in addition, if this person is moving towards the building right now in the open area, the doors of that building from where this possible person can enter will get auto-locked. Depending upon what you want, they can be double doors, you can get him in between and then lock both the doors as well. So till now, if you look at, there is no human intervention required and the complete technology-based system can run it. So your SOP, so-called SOP, is running with the machines. and you're responding only to those situations which you're not able to manage with your technology. And obviously, in this case, since you don't have guards sprayed all around, they're coming from a distance, communication to them and their mobility also has to be enhanced. In fact, there is a large mine area in which the response is not by guard, the first response is by drones. The area is so large, if human is going to move, and also the undulated ground, they'll not reach in good time. The first response itself is by drone. And drone, once it goes in, it can actually zoom into faces, do better identification, and you cannot do anything to the drone. So that's the level of technology intervention and all that is being right now discussed and going for. So when we're looking at, I already said unity of effort, hugely, hugely important. You all need to work together, merge together, and at the same time, even what we're discussing today, it might look like a solution today, but maybe not tomorrow. So we all need to keep mutating, keep changing, keep evolving. And one thing as security professionals, we will continue to have a challenge, and which I always say कि चोर आगे भागेगा, पुलिस पीछे ही रहती है. But you can be as close as possible to identify when things go wrong, so that you can quickly either stop or maybe do damage control or apprehend quickly. You cannot cross chore, because the moment you go ahead, the chore can go in some other direction. So that's how you have to be very much at it and keep working as close to the possible as the miscreants might be planning for, but obviously cannot really cross and go forward.
Harika, can I ask you a question on the previous slides? Very interesting. Last week we saw the Paris Museum. Within 10 minutes, they stole 10 million worth necklace. And what I later, quite interesting because we're going to be discussing this today. I was reading, there is no NFC CCTV and there is no EA-based CCTV. But countries like Europe, France, what is your opinion on this, like prevention and detection? All these category, was it not involved there? Did you do any study on that? How come they can reach the security?
While I think you already read very detailed description of events and how it's shaped earlier. So while this existed, but was not robust enough, that's one. Number two, the key thing that we discussed, our security has to have capability to block a professional doing something wrong. Most of the time our security, I may call it administrative security. You have cards, see, open, shut down. But if I've stolen your card, even put my picture on it, no, it's still not, most systems, some systems are going to facial recognition, but most are still not geared up for it. But if I'm able to study your system, that's the key thing. A professional will study your system and then find a way to go inside. And most of the time, even if you look at most of the crime movies, and especially there's a heist or bank and otherwise, they would have studied in detail that, okay, here is a PTZ, it goes in this direction, comes back, it'll give you 30 seconds to move. And if it is not even analytics on it, that every moment being detected, after 30 seconds, I'll still stay still. Then I know camera is for 5 seconds, after 5 seconds, I'll again get 30 seconds to move. So that's how when people are studying the system so well, our system of security should have dynamism to check these miscreants. And number two, the robustness has to go up. Now, very sorry to say that most of the time, whether it's London or I will even call Israel and US and Europe, we assume that they have a very good system. And they also, when they roam around, they with the color of the skin, we don't know anything and they know everything. I can bet the Indian security profession is best in the world. The amount of risk we have, right from natural disasters to thefts and whatnot, amount of work we do, amount of systems we create, they don't have it. Especially if you look at ISO 27001, started in 2005, but let's treat it as a base practice of information security. India has got the maximum number of companies certified on this standard. Some of the US companies in India they are certified, in US they are not. So yes, stadium had the museum had that availability, and that's what has been very beautifully utilized. And always you'll recall, there has to be an insider who provides these inputs, and that's how when we talk about the disgruntled employees, it's not only an attack by them, it's also information sharing by them can become a challenge. And over here also the information was not exactly that how many minutes they have, within those many minutes they can do the job. And insider is one word which even a lot of security professionals don't work on it. And I say that insider is as important as that even in Ramayana, when Ram had to kill Ravan, without the insider, even God couldn't kill the devil. Right? Vibhishan ne nahi bataya hota, to same thing. So insiders are that important. But most of us don't see that as a risk because it's not visible, it's not impacting. And same thing is happening even on the, when even some of you have bought AI-based systems, you know what people are buying? They're buying, I want ready trained system. So they will buy something which will show me results on day one. Forgetting, this system will operate best if you let this machine learn and become more intelligent every next day. If they had a machine learning based system, the moment, the tracking of movement would have given this miscreant's identity. But the system was not geared up for it. And when I say this, yes, it's a reality. If you put a camera here, if camera starts looking at faces, looking at the patterns, movement, what time, if you're housekeeping, many minutes you stay, what you do, if all that is known to the camera, you cannot pre-feed everything. Let the system learn. That's where machine learning, deep learning, all that is important. So if you get the system, obviously you want some results because the management want to see results, it's fine. But believe me, results on day 5, day 25, day 365 are going to be far more robust than what you got on day 1. So yes, vulnerability is clear. Somebody studied the system, broke the system.
So basically, the thieves are more advanced than and more intelligent than our security professionals. Looking at that as a case study.
I will say, and if I may just use the word a little bit different, and this is what I always say, the top professional and the top fraudsters, they both have same trait, just that the intentions are different. So you cannot look at, and the top fraudster or top terrorist or top someone, I mean, being from the SF, all these top terrorists are as much skill set. The training they go through, rather now thankfully India has got very good weaponry. For a very long time they used to come with modern weapons than what Indian army was fighting with. It's just that the intention. But they need to treat them maybe as good as you, but at the same time, the bigger problem here is, you are a batsman. You have to play every ball right. A terrorist or a fraudster or a thief just need to get one ball right to get out. So that our job is not easy. You have to be relentless. You have to win it every time. And whereas the other person has time to study your system, look at it, find a gap, and then finally come at you. So I don't know whether in this long answer you have. So I think, thanks for the question. What I'm going to say is very similar to it. So what you're doing right now, well, yes, you may have the white pieces, but you're playing chess with, I guess. If you can take that, everybody.
So all these camera systems, surveillance system, assume we have 24/7 electricity
Yes.
and internet.
Yes.
Which is not the case we experience. I'll give a personal example. I put a camera to avoid fumes and empty Bisleri cans getting lifted from the doorstep.
Right.
And moment the power switches, it takes some time. And immediately these things were lifted, and I asked housekeeping guys, do you have any idea? They're saying, you have camera, na? Check there.
So they already knew what answer to provide. So I will call it, thanks for putting that up. I will call it, that's the base. Without that, you cannot have anything. Forget about AI and everything. If the base of not having a UPS supply and not having 100% time connectivity, then it's
UPS takes some time to...
No, UPS is an uninterrupted one. The generator takes some time. But at the same time, there can be a huge impact even on the storage if you're not on the UPS. So this starts with there, and AI is maybe few layers up there which we need to work on. And what I was saying that obviously it's a tough chess game with the opponent, but the rules are very different here. Generally in chess, you'll play one stroke and other plays one. If you're slow, in this one, other will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves and beat you. So that's a very different chess which is going to be part of your life now. It's not that you will move one by one. The other will have the possibility to do 5 moves continuously if you're too slow to react. So you need to get up the gears and really up the ante to reach a stage when all this can be better served. But yes, thankfully questions are already there, and we can do few more. We have few seconds left. Few more questions before we wind off.
On the same slide, talking about prevention and detection. Two things associated with it, which you mentioned very aptly, are, probably analytics play a very important role. One question comes in, what is the data, kind of data that we feed into the analytics to kind of detect? It differs from environment to environment.
Yes.
Airport is different, office is different, hotel is different.
Yes.
And then another part which comes into it is about the bias of the system, especially when we feed data into it. And after getting it intelligent learning, whether the system learns itself or we feed into the data, how do you control that part of it?
So thank you. That's very important, and I think your first question also has a little bit of an inbuilt answer to it. Like you said, the data has to be fed, the rules have to be made, which have to be customized. If I'm in a mining area, or if I'm holding a currency chest, or if I'm in an IT company, or I'm holding a normal bank, or I'm in the retail sector, everybody will have different rules. Because, and again, a lot of things which can be done using technology, I will say, go forward. Don't even limit it to security. You can even do business functions. For example, there was a challenge with some retail stores which came up. And when we were presenting to the CEO, he said, security is fine, but I have another problem. How can you tell me my store is ready at 9:30 and not late? You have cameras. You can use the same camera with another AI level to give a confirmation the store was perfectly ready. Because the same camera can also see if there are loitering, all racks are complete, people have come in time. So you can even go ahead and feed rules of business, not only security, and then even the security which often gets a challenge of this is cost. Once you are able to do business function using your system, you will not be seen as a cost, you will be seen as enabler. So I will say the data has to be very customized, and even within the same sector, in two different environments, if my neighboring unit is Israeli embassy, I'm company A, and another one in company A campus, my neighbors are all other IT companies. So even the environment for these two will change. So what data I fed when I'm in an IT environment vis-a-vis when I'm neighbor to an Israeli embassy, even that data has to change. Even those rules have to change. So it has to be very customized. It cannot be one size fits all by any chance. That's the first part which you mentioned. I think second, sorry, I
Bias of the data.
bias. That's a very genuine problem you've highlighted. System as of now, also AI generative, whatever we call it, is still getting sharper. It is not at a stage where everything is fine with it. So there is a lot of R&D development going on. Secondly, once you place, your own machine will learn and reduce the bias regularly. Till now, yes, it's a reality. The system will not start with 0% bias. It will have not only bias, but it will also have some errors. But that, with time, people like Srini are doing good R&D. Please improve the systems. And then when the systems are deployed, the machine learning also reduces the errors and bias. So you will not have first day 0 errors. You will have some challenges and they will get eradicated as the system becomes more mature.
Just one more point associated with it. From the government perspective and the regulations perspective, are there any regulations or rules that are framed specifically for India, which talks about, because it's all personal data that we are talking about, whether it's detection or anything else, and then we are storing it.
Yes.
Big question mark. What are the government rules associated with it in terms of India? And globally also, like in US, we have more stringent rules. Europe, we have more stringent rules. You cannot just transfer the data also. There are data protection rules associated with it. So where are we currently and how do we see changing it?
Great. So thankfully, India has already found its solution. So we have Data Privacy Act, which has been passed. Rules were framed. They were given open to public for comments. The date of comments is over. Government is compiling, and most probably within November, the rules will be notified. So we have Data Protection Act, which looks at the privacy. It even goes to a stage of identifying who's the data handler, who's the owner, and how many days you need to delete the data, what all you can store, what all you cannot store. All that is very clearly notified, so no problems within that. I think within November, I'm hoping the rules will be notified by MeitY. That's the ministry which is looking at the Data Protection Act. The second thing which you have said about overall environment in terms of stringency. So every country is playing for themselves now. If you look at the global geopolitical situation, everybody is playing, even US is playing for themselves, which used to play for others as well at a point of time. Now everybody is playing for themselves. So the way Europeans have GDPR, US has, so India has also made very similar rules. For example, already there are certain type of financial data which you cannot take out. RBI has given that guideline. So in that case, there is the reason when you look at the number of data centers coming up in country. So one is the practical use, because OTTs and all, they want to have edge-based. They want to be closer to you so that the view experience is great. Because if you, I'll take an extra minute, Dom, if it works, right? Dom, I can take a couple of more minutes? Yeah. So if you look at, see, if you're watching a soccer match or a cricket match, initially it used to happen, on the Doordarshan, lovely Doordarshan, there was just one stream. Even when the digital TV came up, you had one stream. So what will happen? That much of data is getting delivered and you're able to watch. Now, with OTT and obviously with the smart TVs, I can even choose to see only Ronaldo during the day. Or I can choose, no, I'll only watch Messi. Or I can view angles, I can do this. Look at the amount of data which is needed for my viewing experience. So that's how, and this is just OTT is just one example. There are a lot of other things which are happening. So that's how the data centers all come in. One reason is because of experience, but the second reason is also India has given stringent rules in terms of what all has to stay in India. RBI has given guidelines, some other guidelines are there. So that's how you see the data centers coming up. A lot of data of India has to stay within India. So that's very similar to what some other countries were doing it earlier. We are in the same boat, and I will call it the Data Protection Act is a very smartly drafted act. We might be quite better than some of the other countries.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to the Paris episode of the theft. So what I wanted to share is that AI or technology was not used to defeat AI or technology. AI and technology was used to hack the human. The thieves came dressed in a yellow safety jacket. They just hacked the human brain. It also highlights one more important aspect of working in silos and why we need to keep the security informed of whatever else is happening. So just want to add these 2 points, that the human is the weakest link in all this technological revolution.
I agree, sir. Although, means if you look at the Paris one, I will still call it very weak security. Because even during occupancy time, non-occupancy time, what distance from these valuables has to be maintained can be easily done by camera, but they didn't have anything kind of situation. Yeah, please, sir.
Just 30 seconds to touch on the last question that was asked. The Data Protection Act or rules deals specifically with personal data,
Yes.
which is slightly different from regulation of AI. When it comes to regulation of AI, we are talking about modification to the IT rules of 2021. And in fact, there was a piece in Times of India yesterday where the government has proposed 3 very specific actions to regulate AI in India. The first one is that any content that is uploaded on any social media platform, whether it is text, audio, or video, will have a self-certification by the user that this content is not AI generated or it is AI generated, and that declaration would be seen on that picture. You would have already started noticing such kind of disclaimers on pictures that you find in newspapers, etc. these days. The second thing is that this declaration will occupy at least 10% of the space of that particular content that is posted. The metadata of the content that is posted on any social media platform would be non-erasable, and the companies would be empowered to flag such content which has been uploaded without self-certification, and even would have the powers to take it down. I think this is already in line with what the EU and China have already enacted. But it's a different thing that if we want to get regulation into place for AI, it has to work on a global scale, because AI is not bounded by international boundaries. The largest AI labs are in US. Unless they are on board, it's not really going to work. It's a different debate altogether, that who stands to benefit by the absence of regulation. And I think the answer also lies there in that.
So thank you. That's great input. Although his question was linked to data privacy, not on AI, but also on AI. Thanks. That's a very accurate thing which you mentioned. But I will just very bluntly say this is non-implementable. Because AI is not in labs. AI is within my phone. In India, we already have close to 1 billion phones. How can you regulate? Means, can you tell if you're not doing it, I'm not uploading you data? Not even China does it. So this is something of very wishful thinking, which government said कुछ तो बोलना चाहिए because दुनिया बोल रही है. But this is not totally non-implementable. But at the same time, government is also drafting a full AI law. That's a group of experts is working on that. But again, considering that the way AI is being used, it's available to everybody, I suspect we'll be able to control it. I think what we need to do is end up being smarter, protect ourselves, protect families, and protect organizations. I think that's a limited role we must continue to do.
We'll take a last question because we are running out of time. Last question, brief.
So, Captain, here.
Please.
So, Captain, I have a question here. Being from physical security background, most of our guarding staffs are from 10th, 12th background. So, as of now in Pasara, we don't have any training which we can impart on technologies and AI. Because, now Meta glasses and all those systems has come. So, in future, if somebody carries a Meta which has an AI assistant or something, our guarding staff will not even be aware that there is a technology like that. So, do you think that even we need some changes in Pasara as well?
So thanks for that. And actually, every question is coming up in a manner that has got very long answer, or they are very relevant subjects. So my first humble request will be, don't call yourself physical security professional. Let it be risk professional or security professional. Yeah. Unless until we start doing that, we will continue to provide gaps to the miscreants. The second thing is, let's for a 30-second imagine the tools which are available for us to develop our security or maintain and run security. The biggest one, CCTV, IT, data, analytics, access control again, IT, verification, authentication, even in doing facial, doing PIN pad, doing cards, all again going to server, intrusion detection, even look at the building management. HVAC managed by all IoTs and stuff. Fire. So all systems have become IT. What on earth is Pasara doing about it? And I'm with you with this. But at the same time, why in India we need everybody to follow when the regulation will get made? And challenge with us Indians is regulation ban jaye to usko hum वैसे follow nahi karte. So let's not wait. That's how when I was talking about the manpower, If that change of manpower is needed today, work on it. Don't wait for regulation to change. And since all systems are IT, how can a guard not know these systems, how they run? Because the breach also will happen on systems. So guards need to know more. At the same time, I'm very sure with regular now, most of the securities will become, like I said, SOP being run by technology. So guard will have an app that will show everything what guard need to do. So unless the guard is very much familiar, interface and everything, it'll not become effective. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, sir. Sir,
Last question.
Sir, okay.
Yes, because you've been lifting
Sorry.
his hand from quite.
yeah, I would like to add my view on the concept of camera and crime prevention. So,
Wait a second.
yeah,
Views are 2 minutes long.
no, sir.
We'll call you as a speaker later.
Yeah. I do think that it is very important to know the difference between prevention and action and monitoring and recording, because CCTV are actually created for prevention rather than the action, and now I think mostly it is used for only the action purpose. In India, I think it is more like recording rather than monitoring, and I do obviously think that monitoring along with some immediate interventions through audio or a voice could be really helpful in reducing the crime.
I think I'll interject here, sorry. You will have a session
Yeah.
when they'll talk about live monitoring
Yeah. Okay.
and live actions and alerts.
Okay.
So that's coming up. Let's just hold on.
Okay.
Thank you so much.